Life Imprints podcast, legacy stories that live beyond. Turn up the volume on today's riveting story with your host, Kenny Mauck, at kennymauck.com, and leave your life imprint with your legacy story.
Welcome back, friends. Very exciting to have you on the Kenny Mauck podcast, Leaving Your Life Legacy. Kenny, you've been out here on the road, the podcast tour across the Midwest, up north. What city are you in today?
I'm in Davison, Michigan, with my parents up here, just enjoying some time here with them and our family.
You know, your book's got some amazing stories about how we can choose to. We don't have to be victims, right, of our DNA, our ancestry. You've got some great people in your history. You've got some bad apples in the past too.
Yeah.
You've been a counselor and a therapist, and own your own businesses. Been on the board of a number of nonprofits. What have you found? What message is in the book that you want people to take home with them?
You know, I think some of the themes that I think in the book are really important are, you taking risks. Are you an explorer? Are you somebody who's willing to kind of look at your life and make changes? Sometimes we want to be not because we want to, but sometimes we kind of cast ourselves as a victim instead of a victor. And I think those are the themes that I think the book kind of helps us. That you can be empowered to change your life. And you can be a person that, but becoming all that means you have to lay some groundwork. Your faith is important, and then friends, and then people that. A little bit about friends, because you go into deep in the book on this, and this is where a lot of guys get hung up, right? Yeah, we're islands, right? I mean, but Michael,
alligators and big fences, and walls. Yeah.
Well, to me, the key is that we as men, our wives have a little bit better for some reason. Sometimes it's just in their DNA. They just kind of morph into all these friends. For men, I think it's important that we be intentional, and that's been something that I myself have had to work at. But I think what I've been able to do is the friends that I do have, they're very important people to me. And I feel like that it's important that you also realize that you don't just befriend somebody that doesn't have your best interest and just doesn't really help you go to the next level in your life. If you're, that whole saying about, if you do the same things you always done, you're going to get the same results. It's the same thing with your friends. It's important that you pick people that inspire you, that can influence you. And, people that, the friends that we went to church with, I tended to eventually move to people that were more entrepreneurs and people who had on their own business that just seemed to really excite me as a person to say, oh, you mean I may not have to, nothing wrong with working for a certain company, but I didn't want my life to necessarily be under the throes of a business that had, maybe didn't see all the potential that I could do. And so opening new businesses was something that was helpful to have.
You've been able to sell companies. You've been able to mentor people on starting businesses. You go into the book about accountability and the difference between accountability and friendship. Go into that a little bit.
Okay, sure. You've got friends, but then you have those people that speak into your life in areas that maybe you need to work on. Maybe it's your marriage. Maybe maybe it's something, an issue regarding finances. Whatever it is. But I was fortunate to be around a group of guys called the Eagles Group. Dave Ramsey was a part of that group, and
oh wow,
he was Dave is an national radio host now. But having him in my life.
It's only Sean Hannity and Rush Limbaugh that have got him beat. So a lot of people don't know how huge Dave is, right?
He really is. And, to have an influence like him as an accountability person and also somebody that we kind of did books with. And we basically just iron sharpening iron. And I think men need that people of that also people of difference. There's people in our Eagles group that were different than me, but I appreciated it. because it was a different perspective, and it helped round me as a person. And I think, us as men, it's okay that we need to not just hang with sometimes people that are just like us.
Did they always tell you
it's not just
here? Did they care
yeah.
feelings all the time?
Yeah, exactly. And so, I don't agree with that. I don't really, in your face in a good way. And I think those are good, things to be a part of is groups that challenge you in ways that other people wouldn't. So,
what is the triad of success?
A triad of success to me is where you feel empowered to, by your life. You have dreams, you have goals, but you got this passion. You should have passion in your life, and I love that. If you're not passionate about your life or what your product is or whatever, I think that's not a good thing. I think you also need to be a person who's a person of story, that you're building your story, and I think it's important to have that in your life. I think you need to be a person that's committed, and so there's these spokes that kind of go off to what makes a person kind of develop, and those are the kind of things that I think are really important. Is to build your kind of three-legged kind of a stool in your life where you're actually you have things that you've got passion, you've got a purpose, you've got drive, and you've got a commitment. And I think all those things are things that make us kind of lift off as men. And so I think it's important to have that triad.
Well, and your book's different because it's got those practical solutions that you've helped people discover in the counseling therapy sessions, but it's worked in the real life workshop of the world in creating businesses, multiple businesses. You're speaking everywhere. You're speaking in churches. You're speaking with business leaders.
Life Imprints podcast. Legacy stories that live beyond. Turn up the volume on today's riveting story with your host, Kenny Mauck, at kennymauck.com, and leave your life imprint with your legacy story.